Away to Brighton, champions Manchester City visit Huddersfield and the flying Liverpool Crystal Palace. A full preview of games here. Also ahead.
High quality players, and we worked so hard this past week, so I'm sure that our team will play well. We'll do our best to win this match. We know that this side, our opponent, is a very strong side, so it's going to be a good match. And I have watched the video of the matches, so analyze their strategy as well.
Continental action, and Ghana's only representative, Aduana Stars, will seek to feather their Confederations Cup ambitions when they take on ASEC Mimosa this week. We have our eyes on that and other games lined up. Head to our Facebook page, Joy/99.7, our WhatsApp line 0244340437, or tweet at us at JoySportsGH to react to our question of the day. We are in France for updates from the ongoing Under-20 Women's World Cup and in Cincinnati for the updates on the US Open's precursor. Time to talk about what the world is talking about in the world of sports. Hello from me, George Addo Jr., and welcome to Preview Friday.
When the referee's whistle sounds, when the beautiful flicks and tricks account for the goals and wins, when the tempers flare and the passion is in overdrive, where do you stand as a fan? It is time to turn your passion into some real cash. Monetize your shouts at 138.com, the newest and best sports betting and virtual gaming company in town. Sign up and enjoy 200% bonus on your first deposit on www.138.com/Africa. Experience live in play with unbeatable odds, endless markets and prompt payment. Mobile money enabled with quick deposit and easy withdrawal. Visit any of our retail shops in Accra, at Alaju, Caprice, Jamestown, Taifa, Suwatum, and Teshi. In Kaswa at Newmarket and Ofako. 138.com is licensed by the Gaming Commission of Ghana and it is not for persons below age 18. Bet responsibly. Call 050-9138-138 for any inquiries. Join the winning team now. 138.com. Win every day.
Live on radio, live online. This is The Locker Room with George Addo Jr.
And of course, a great good afternoon to you. Thank you and welcome. Get onto our WhatsApp line 0244340437 and try to answer our question of the day. Will Real Madrid really have a bad season without Cristiano Ronaldo? That's it for you. I've seen some of your messages as well on our Facebook page, Joy/99.7. It's a big show. Thank you for joining us. We'll begin then with continental action, and there will be a lot to look forward to in the Confederations Cup, Champions League, of course, here on the continent. Aduana Stars will be in action on Sunday in the CAF Confederations Cup game with ASEC Mimosa. We know as well in the Champions League, 4 teams can qualify for a Champions League quarter-final berth as the 5th round of group matches gets underway. We have to quickly find out what there is to expect with Joy Sports Selwyn Saki.
Aduana Stars and ASEC Mimosas will be looking to bounce back to winning form when they meet in the 2018 CAF Confederations Group A match at Agyemang Bedu Stadium in Doma on Sunday, August 19, kickoff 15 hours Central African time. Aduana Stars coming to this match having suffered a 2-0 loss at the hands of AS Vita Club in their last CAF Club game at the back end of July. The DR Congo Giants claimed victory in Kinshasa thanks to a brace of goals from Jean-Marc Mundele. They'll be hoping to repeat that when they host Raja Casablanca on Sunday. Al Masry will look to book a quarter-final berth in 2018 CAF Confederations Cup when they take on Group B rivals UD Songo at the Ferroviaria Stadium in Beira on Sunday, August 19. Kickoff is 15 hours Central African time. Masry coming to this game having beaten North African rivals RS Berkane 1-0 at home, their last CAF Club game. A long goal from Islam Issa Eli in the second half saw the Egyptian side to victory in Port Said at the back end of July. The result took the Green Eagles to the top of Group E on 8 points from 4 matches. They have a narrow 1-point lead over second place Berkane, but will guarantee themselves a place in the knockout rounds if they claim victory in this clash. With that, Casablanca will take on Mamelodi Sundowns in the 2018 CAF Champions League Group C match at the Stade Mohamed V in Morocco on Friday. Kickoff is 20 hours Central African time. The Moroccan Giants defeated Guinean side Horea AC 2-0 in their previous Group C match at home last month, with us sitting at the top of Group C standings, having accumulated 8 points from 4 group matches. A victory of Wydad Resistance will see them book their place in the knockout stages of the prestigious club competition. The defending champions will look to Ivorian defender Sheikh Kamara and Moroccan attacker Mohamed Unajem, who both scored against Horoya. Meanwhile, Sundowns defeated Togolese side AS Togoport 2-1 in their previous Group C game at home over 2 weeks ago. The South African champions have accumulated 5 points from 4 group matches with 2 games left in the group stage. Sundowns, who won the 2016 Champions League, will boost their chances of reaching the quarterfinals if they defeat Wydad. Gor Mahia will take on Rayon Sports in the 2018 CAF Confederations Group D match at the Moi International Sports Stadium in Kenya on Sunday. Kickoff is 18 hours Central African time. The Kenyan champions defeated Tanzanian side Young Africans 3-2 in the previous Group D match away late last month. Gor Mahia sitting at the top of Group D standings, having accumulated 8 points from 4 group matches. A victory for Gor Mahia will see them book their place in the knockout stages of the African club competition.
So Nsaki there with a wrap. And of course, we have to look at that big game. Reigning champions Wydad Casablanca definitely up against Mamelodi Sundowns. Now, what? If they're able to win this game, they will be straight into, the last 8 of the competition with a game to spare, really. And we have to quickly hear from South African football journalist Mark Leeson, who feels that, well, they've got a point. Even if they get a point, is enough.
They beat Sundowns already at the quarterfinal stage in the 27 edition, so it was a fairly tight game, and there were chances for the South Africans, so I think that they will go there with some heart, but I think they'll be satisfied with a point. Hope that then they can beat Horoya in their last home game, which I think is on the 28th in Pretoria, and still sneak in second place. But this is a real battle of the Titans.
CAF Champions League, CAF Confederations Cup games to look forward to this weekend. But of course, the Italian Serie A definitely starts this weekend, and we're talking about the Ghanaian import. There is Cristiano Ronaldo. Yes, we know he's going to be trying to, help the Serie A get back to what it used to be before. That's going to be a huge job. But let's see if he's able to do that. We know that today as well is the transfer deadline day for the Italian market, and that's really interesting because we have to head over now to hear from Super Agent Oliver Arthur, who's been talking about what we should expect in the Italian Serie A this season. And of course, did not forget to talk about the Ghanaian players.
The world is going to have the attention focused on Serie A this season. Ronaldo is in Italy. Ronaldo is playing for Juventus. Everybody's talking about it. Is Juventus going to win the Scudetto again? Is Juventus going to win the Champions League? The pressure is here. The attention is here. And the clubs here are not just giving up that Ronaldo is in Juventus. Juventus has the best team, so they're going to win. Inter Milan is doing a lot of purchases, putting a lot in place to be able to compete against Juventus. They are the club that everybody is looking at, that they are going to really challenge Juventus to the Scudetto this year, getting in Langolan, getting Kojo Asamoah, getting all sort of players to make it work. This year also, it's a very good year. We're hoping to be for Ghanaian players. We have Kevin Boateng signing for Sassuolo, Duncan also with Sassuolo. Sassuolo also want to play in the Europa League. We have Kojo Asamoah going to Inter Milan, and we know that the coach is using him in different positions, so definitely he's also going to have very good playing time. When you come to my camp, I've been having a lot of challenges trying to move Efri Akwa from Torino. Next year he becomes a free agent because he decided not to sign a new contract that the club gave him. But we were able to have an agreement with Torino where Empoli paid a little money, and then they got the player on loan. And this year we are all looking to a very strong league this year.
Oliver Arthur, super agent, telling us of the Ghanaian players to look forward to, yes, in that Italian Serie A. And of course, we'll get into the big discussion here about Cristiano Ronaldo and what that really does to Real Madrid. But Benedict Owusu, my colleague, joins me in studio as well. We have to look at the Ghanaian players in the Spanish La Liga. Benedict, thank you very much for joining me. How are you this afternoon?
Yes, George, I'm fine, and I hope you're good.
Yeah, Liverpool later. Now, though, we have to stick in the Spanish La Liga. So, on the top of everyone's mind, listening into the show, it's Thomas Partey and what he will do with Atletico Madrid. But we've got some more Ghanaian players in there.
Absolutely, and we've got quite an appreciable number of Ghanaian players in the Spanish La Liga. Probably maybe for the first time in the last 6 seasons, we're going to have 5 players in the Spanish La Liga. You mentioned Thomas Partey, who plays for Atletico Madrid. Obviously, we know of his performances for the side, especially in last season's La Liga, in the UEFA Champions League, and in the UEFA Europa League when they dropped, and also eventually winning that competition. And just some few days ago, how he performed in the side game against Real Madrid in the
UEFA Super Cup and winning it.
Yeah. So apart from Thomas Partey, Rafael Jamna has also joined the Spanish La Liga. He has signed a 4-year deal with La Liga side Levante. Rafael Jamna is coming from the Swiss league. If you remember very well, last season he was built to join Brighton in the English Premier League. He failed a medical, then went back to his club in Switzerland and performed very well. And this season he's got the opportunity to play in the Spanish La Liga. So he's already going there to join a Ghanaian player in the Levante setup. That's Emmanuel Boateng, the man who hogged the headlines last season after scoring a hat-trick against Barcelona and also scored against Real Madrid. So now we're going to have 2 Ghanaians, but it's just unfortunate that he will not start the season because of a knee injury sustained whilst playing for the side in pre-season. So Jamna is set to start for his side, that's Levante, this weekend. Also, Mubarak Wakasu, you know, he was there last season. He's been jostling between clubs on loan, and now he's permanent at he is with Deportivo Alaves, and nearly escaped relegation last season. This season will be hoping to, you know, build on what they did last season and help the team. Well, he's also been joined by a Ghanaian player, that's Patrick Chumesi. He's coming from Kazakhstan. He's coming from Kazakhstan with Astana. And Astana. I listened to an interview that he granted the La Liga Santander, and he mentioned that for him, he's coming there to do what he was doing in Kazakhstan, because he doesn't see the difference. In Kazakhstan, he was scoring a lot of goals for Astana. He played in the Europa League and was doing very well. So if he's coming to the Spanish La Liga, the likes of Lionel Messi and the big teams will not put fear in him. He's just coming there to do his business, and he's also thrilled that he's got a Ghanaian player in the team, and that will help him settle very well. So we also expect Patrick Chumesi to let up the La Liga this season. And also, I've mentioned Jamna in there. So 2 Ghanaian players I've spoken about. Now we already have Mubarak Wakasu, also with Deportivo Alaves. Now there's a Ghanaian heritage, a player with a Ghanaian heritage, that's Emmanuel Lomote. So Emmanuel Lomote has also joined Villarreal, and he will definitely be expected to, you know, play very well.
Emmanuel Lomote of dreams,
actually a good player. So we'll see how that will go for him. Having played here on the local scene and also gone out on trials, and now permanently he's going to play for Villarreal. So it promises to be a good season, especially when you have Ghanaian players in the Spanish La Liga. Every weekend you'll be watching out. As you're watching Lionel Messi, there is no Cristiano Ronaldo. At least you have at the back of your mind that
you've got some Ghanaian players in there
to watch out as well.
Benedict, also thank you very much for running us through what we've got in terms of the Ghanaian import inside the Spanish La Liga. Safo Bafojima is here, Eric as well, Enoch Fifi Forsen here, and they're waiting when we get into that discussion about Cristiano Ronaldo and Real Madrid. And of course, I've seen your messages. Ben Ametowodo says La Liga is for Barcelona automatically. Champions League is also for Barcelona this season. Who told you, Ben? Be careful. More of that after we go for the Joy Sports BBC two-way series. I had a great chat there with the BBC's John Bennett, and you want to listen? We're back after this. Thanks, John, for your time this weekend. And let's begin with defending champions Manchester City, who are unlucky to have had De Bruyne injured. How crucial is this injury if City's worst fears are confirmed?
I think it's probably the worst possible news for Manchester City. We don't want to get too carried away. They've got such a strong squad. I do think they'll be okay. I do think they'll still be strong. I do think they're still favourites to win the Premier League. But Kevin De Bruyne is without doubt their star. He makes them tick. He provides so many assists. He's a goal scorer as well. Opposition teams fear him. They struggle to work out plans to stop him as well. So it is a huge blow. I heard a few pundits on the radio this week saying that possibly it would be a bigger blow if Fernandinho got injured. Maybe there's an argument for that because they're quite short in the defensive midfield area. But Kevin De Bruyne is the creator in the team. So I think it is going to be a big blow. Perhaps, though, it's the best possible time in the season for it to happen. You look at their fixtures. They have a lot of winnable games early in the season. We're just about to start the Champions League campaign in September. You know, it's probably the best time for it to happen. He'll be back for the real business end of the season, and probably the crucial time at Christmas as well. So really bad news, I think, for Manchester City. Bad news for the Premier League. Bad news for neutral fans because he's great to watch. Bad news for people who have fantasy football teams as well. But we really hope that Kevin De Bruyne is back soon.
Arsenal fans are a bit unsure about what to expect this weekend at the Stamford Bridge. It's surely too early to judge Unai Emery, John, but were there any bright spots at all in that first game?
Not too many, I have to say. Listen, I agree with you. I think it is too early to judge Unai Emery, but I have big concerns about Arsenal short term. I think there is going to be a lot of short-term pain for the Arsenal fans that listen to your programmes. I think it's going to be very difficult for them. We saw that Unai Emery is trying to get a new style of play over to the Arsenal players, which does differ from what Arsene Wenger was doing. Arsene Wenger played some very attractive football, liked to pass the ball around, but there was definite change, wasn't there, last week in passing the ball out from the back, and Manchester City took advantage of that. I think other teams will take advantage as well. There wasn't much cohesion. I'm not sure he's worked out where to play Mesut Ozil, where to play Henrik Mkhitaryan to get the best out of them, how to get the best out of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. The Arsenal legend Ian Wright was on UK TV this week saying that he wouldn't mind if Arsenal finished 7th or 8th this season because Unai Emery is bringing this new style of play in. I disagree totally with that. I think Unai Emery at least has to get in the top 6 and has to be at least challenging to get into the top 4. Surely that's why they've brought him in. But I do think there's going to be some short-term pain for Arsenal fans. I think Chelsea are big favourites this weekend. They're trying to adopt a new style of play under Maurizio Sarri, but they seem to be a long way ahead of what Arsenal have been trying to do.
John, Arsenal will then square up against Chelsea under extremely different circumstances. Is Sarri up against Unai Emery with nothing more than experimental ideas on show? What do you expect?
Well, I think it's going to be a very exciting game. I really hope that I'm sure it will happen. Eden Hazard will start. He'll be back. Of course, he only had a week's training after the World Cup before the Huddersfield game last weekend, so he'll start. I really hope that for Arsenal, Lucas Torreira starts. I struggle to work out why he didn't start last weekend. Maybe it's to do with the World Cup as well, although Uruguay went out in the quarterfinals. Maybe he hasn't adapted to life in London. We don't know. But Lucas Torreira, I think, will be a massive player for Arsenal this season. If they're to do well, he will be a key player. He's that midfielder that they've needed for a long time. He's a battler in midfield. He'll work just in front of the back four. He'll make them tick. I think he's a big player for them. So I really hope that Lucas Torreira starts. And then maybe we'll see what Unai Emery's trying to do with that Arsenal team.
John, Liverpool's new man, Naby Keita, was easily the talk of town amongst the Cups down here. I know it's Palace next, but how crucial would he be to Klopp's successes or failure this season?
Massive. He was the Premier League signing I was most looking forward to watching this season, not only because I was lucky enough to go to RB Leipzig to meet him last season, and he was a great guy. He was really looking forward to playing for Liverpool. Watched him play as well live. First time I'd seen him play live, seen him a lot of times on the TV, but just watching him play in the stadium was interesting because I got to watch him off the ball, and I was really excited about him in the Premier League. Brilliant ball carrier, box-to-box player. He's got a good shot on him as well. Decent defender as well. He's not like N'Golo Kante. There were a few people before the season saying he's another N'Golo Kante. He's not like him at all. He isn't as good at defending, but he is better at being a dynamic runner going forward. And we saw that, didn't we, last weekend for Liverpool? He created a lot of attacks. He opened up a lot of space as well. So I'm really excited to see him this season. I think if Liverpool are going to challenge for the title, I think he's going to be a massive part of that. Really good signing by Jurgen Klopp, who I think made a lot of good signings during this window. Naby Keita, I think, will have a great season.
Which English Premier League games then, aside the top 6 duels, will catch your attention this weekend?
Well, I know I'm biased because I'm from Leicester, but I really have to pick out the Leicester City game against Wolverhampton Wanderers this weekend because it is crucial to Claude Puel's future. There was a report in a UK tabloid this week saying that Claude Puel could be sacked and replaced by Roberto Martinez and Thierry Henry. I think that is not true, but I do think there's a bit of pressure on Claude Puel, which could be lifted this weekend. They lost to Manchester United last Friday, but they played really well. I was at the game, and the Leicester fans were delighted with how Leicester played. So if Leicester City win and put in a good performance against Wolverhampton Wanderers, I think suddenly there's a lot of positivity around Claude Puel, and there's some momentum at Leicester. But if Leicester lose and play badly, even draw and play badly, the negativity remains and the questions will remain about Claude Puel's future. So this is a massive game, even though we're at the start of the season, a massive game in terms of Claude Puel's future. Another game I pick out, Tottenham Hotspur against Fulham. Fulham played some brilliant football last weekend, but lost against Crystal Palace. We know that Tottenham have had a few problems during the transfer window. They haven't made any signings. They've got a lot of players back from the World Cup. This might be a good time for Fulham to play Tottenham. I'm really interested in this game. Don't get me wrong, Tottenham will be big favourites, but I think it's going to be a really attractive game of football.
Finally, John, to Spain, and I know it's unfair to read so many meanings into Madrid's loss to Atletico Madrid in the UEFA Super Cup. But considering the strength of Barcelona, how difficult would it be for Madrid to wrestle the title away from the rivals?
You've hit the nail on the head there, George, because you mentioned they struggled last season, 17 points behind Barcelona last season, and I think they're weaker this season. They've lost Ronaldo, they've lost their head coach Zidane, they've brought in Lopetegui, who is a very good tactician, but he's not proven in club football. He had 18 months at FC Porto, where he didn't do well at all. So I think it's going to be difficult for Real Madrid. So much pressure on Gareth Bale, on Benzema, on Asensio, the attackers. Luka Modric, we think is staying. Well, we're pretty sure he's staying now because Inter Milan, the transfer window will have passed. So we know that he's going to be a big player for them. But I worry about Real Madrid because you look at Barcelona, their squad is improved. Yes, they've lost Iniesta, but Dembele and Coutinho will be in their second seasons. They've got Langley, they've got Malcolm, they've got Arthur as new signings as well. I think their squad is better. And Atletico Madrid as well will challenge yet again. I think they're going to be big players again this season. They made the big signing in Spain, Thomas Lemar from Monaco. They've kept Oblak, they've kept Griezmann. Diego Costa looks in fantastic form. So Real Madrid, I think, could be in for a difficult season. It reminds me of when Rafa Benitez took over. I wouldn't be surprised if Lopetegui is sacked in the winter break. Listen, we're being very premature here. I know it's very early on, but I think there's some pressure on already for him.
Live on radio, live online. This is The Locker Room with George Addo Jr.
And we need your messages on our WhatsApp line, 0244340437. Looking at that, Ahmed Ishak Vicent says, Vicent, Madrid will... Well, they will definitely do well because the sharpness up front will not be there. You think they won't do well? Okay, you can check games Ronaldo played and those he didn't play. Kojo Moses says they will struggle like a Division 2 league team. Now, that's absolutely harsh. But how harsh does this get now here? Because we know that the new La Liga season gets underway this weekend amid plenty of intrigue, especially for Real Madrid, as the 3-in-a-row European champions begin life without the iconic duo. So, this is what we know. Real Madrid are by no means the only team going through a period of change. However, with similar, although less dramatic, transitions being experienced by the biggest rivals, Atletico Madrid and Barcelona, there are key concerns right now for Real Madrid fans who are asking the key question: who will fill the void this man left?
In a statement, Cristiano Ronaldo said the time had come to open a new chapter in his life.
Ronaldo goes for the overhead kick, scores an unbelievable goal. Overhead kick finish into the corner. Ronaldo again. Well, it is almost beyond the boundaries of belief. Except this is Cristiano Ronaldo, where anything is possible.
You know, when he scored that brilliant overhead kick against Juventus, the kind of homage that the Juventus fans gave him, standing ovation. So he kind of touched his heart with his hand and kind of thanked them for it, and then went to Mendes and said, you can put Juventus on that list of people to ring.
Ronaldo's waiting in the centre. Here he is, and he scores again. Ronaldo doubles the holders' advantage.
Real Madrid will always be your home, they said, but the future of one of sport's biggest names now lies in Italy.
In by Coutinho, and in by Ronaldo. He is a sensation. The greatest European goal scorer in the history of international football. It's taken him 4 minutes. He writes every headline,
for Portugal, and he leaves behind him one Ferenc Puskas. Statistically now, there is no one to match him.
The real man at Real Madrid is no more, and who is the real deal now? We have to look out for that real deal. And joining me to do a discussion, Enoch Fifi Fosun. Enoch, how are you doing this afternoon?
Fantastic, George.
Yes, it's good to have you, and that's almost a sick tune to know who's in the house. Eric Yako joins me as well. Eric, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
We have a Liverpool business to come later when we look at the English Premier League, of course. Safa Bafojima, how are you doing?
Very well, George.
In deep blue, that's it. Wondering what happened to the light blue colours. We'll see what happens there, guys. So let's get into it right now. Safa Bafojima, let me start with you straight away there. You know, can we look at Real Madrid? Are there any false shots right now? If you look at the team Real Madrid, what are their problems?
I think there are false shots now. As Peter Drury aptly summed it in that soundbite, he emphasized that Ronaldo is a sensation, the greatest European goal scorer ever. And once you lose such a player, even though he left at the age of 33, the contributions he made to Madrid is out of this world. It's not often that you find players scoring over 450 goals in 438 appearances. And Madrid has always been a club in recent times, say over the last 2 decades, who have carved a niche for themselves as buying big players. When they lose one, they replace the other. You would have expected that after they had lost to Ronaldo, they would have made a marquee signing, say in the shape of a Neymar, Mbappe or Eden Hazard. But it hasn't yet happened. For me, you would expect Gareth Bale to be the man to replace Ronaldo. Even though Bale has shown on certain occasions that he can deliver on the big stage, notably in the 2014 UEFA Champions League final, the Copa del Rey in that same year, and also a few months ago in the Champions League final where he came on in the second half and scored 2 goals. But the challenge has been whether he can produce that same performance on a consistent and on a sustained basis, and whether he can score that number of goals Ronaldo did. The problem for Bale has been his calf and ankle injuries he suffered over the last few years. Last season, for instance, he only played 27 out of the 38 La Liga games because of injuries. The season before, he only played 19 out of the 38 La Liga games because of injuries. So his talent is undoubted, but the problem has been the injuries. And for me, if you are a player and you miss about 4 of the 10 months football calendar, then it's going to be a big challenge for any club. The other player in the attacking position is Karim Benzema. For a striker, last season in over 47 appearances, he scored a paltry sum of 12 goals, 5 in the La Liga, 5 in the Champions League, and 2 in the other domestic competitions. So for a player like that, losing Ronaldo, who scores on the average 50 goals, is going to be difficult. You would say Lucas Vazquez, you would say Asensio, but ask yourself, even though Asensio scored quite some crackers across the season, his goal scoring form was not that consistent on a daily basis. And for a side like Madrid, who are competing with Atletico and Barcelona, you need top level players in the attacking position.
So you think they have issues right now? We talk about the attacking, looking at whether they can replace the goals of Cristiano Ronaldo. That would be the key one for them.
The key one
let me come to you, Eric, on that one. You know, there's been a lot of talk about Cristiano Ronaldo leaving Real Madrid because those of you joining us, we're keeping this discussion in the La Liga and talking about how competitive they will be. But there's also the Zidane factor. I mean, are they losing anything? You tell me, are they losing anything, with Zidane leaving the club?
I think they're losing someone who actually believed in the youth of Real Madrid, which in a long time you haven't had coaches who even consider the youthful players. And then they are losing someone who understands the Real Madrid way to win and the hunger with which you must win with Real Madrid. You see, so the point is now they've lost Zidane because during the summer he knew that they were trying to replace players like Navas and replace Cristiano Ronaldo, and even to some extent Benzema if they do get Icardi. So you can see that he knew the tax coming up was very huge, and he probably had to just dodge the bomb. How could you blame him? No, because he felt like those players, he owed whatever he wanted to those players, and now you are sacking them. And now what's going to happen is the new coach Julian is really going to have a huge tax. I mean, replacing a character like Cristiano Ronaldo. And in Zidane, they are missing someone who had the mentality. You know, if even Zidane was there and Ronaldo was gone, you can just say the character and the mentality will still be there. But to lose both of them, that's like losing those who actually drove the team on. And you probably have only Ramos as a real dressing room character out there. Modric doesn't talk too much. And so they've lost a huge character and a huge manager in
which you've got. And you've made the point, watching Zidane train with Real Madrid a couple of times, and I could see clearly that he's able to allow the players to feel free on the ground. Yes. I mean, it's fun to see Real Madrid, train with Zidane. But let's talk about the rivals, because it's either Barcelona or Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid are giving us a hint that they can make this work. So, Efsin, can we go through what Atletico Madrid and Barcelona have done in the transfer window? I know that the Real Madrid still have some time till the 31st of August to try and put this all up, but what have Barcelona and Atletico Madrid done, at least in terms of beefing up their squads?
Yeah, for Atletico Madrid, they've done the best business in Spain this season. They've brought in a couple of good players in Thomas Lemar, Rodri, Gelson Martins, Nikola Kalinic of Croatia. We saw him at the World Cup, and they've also managed to keep 3 key players, and that's huge for them. And it tells you that Atletico Madrid has changed from being a selling club to a club that aims for the best,
retaining some players like you do.
Yeah, because before the end of last season, the rumors was out there that Griezmann was going to leave for Barcelona. He rejected Barcelona. Diego Godin,
Manchester United
rejected Manchester
United. Really scary on the final day.
Jan Oblak rejected the likes of Liverpool and stayed at Atletico Madrid. And that's huge for them. And Atletico Madrid, they've beefed up their squad so well that the new acquisition that they've brought in are even walking straight into the team. They're like someone like Rodri. You saw him in the UEFA Super Cup on Wednesday when he played in DM position for Atletico Madrid. He's replaced Gabi so well that they're not feeling the departure of Gabi. Thomas Lemar has also
so comfortable, that guy. Like, he's been playing with Atletico Madrid for years. He was so comfortable, Lemar. So
comfortable on the ball. And Thomas Lemar also, we saw him at Monaco and how he was able to control possession, giving the ball to his partnership with Antoine Griezmann and Diego Costa on Wednesday. It was fantastic. So I think Atletico Madrid have done the best business, and they have an improved squad. If you look at this Atletico Madrid squad, the 20 going into this season compared to what they had when they won La Liga in
2014.
In 2014. I think this squad is much
stronger.
More, stronger.
Makes them
and it makes them
even more.
Then they can go all the way.
Let's talk about Barcelona. Then I'm sure Real Madrid fans will want to find out. So a quick reminder of what Barcelona have done so far. What is key? Because there's a lot of talk about Gerard Piqué, old man, and all of that. What's key there
for Barcelona? I think they lost Iniesta, they lost Paulinho. Yeah. But I think they brought in a couple of good players, and I think the acquisition of Malcolm, Arthur, Lenglet, and Arturo Vidal are good. And one thing that they did key, and all fans of Barcelona are happy, is the fact that they have a big squad. Barcelona last season have a big squad, but they managed to send out players who did not bring in anything extra. The likes of Andre Gomez, Jeremina Malone, all these players were there, and they were there, but they didn't bring anything extra. And leaving Valverde to only count on Messi and the like.
You see, you make it quite blunt there in the point that you made about who scores the goals there, because we're talking about the attacking issue with Real Madrid. You've got Diego Costa, you've got Griezmann, and in Barcelona you've got Messi, you've got
Suarez,
and you got a bigger squad. I mean,
you got a bigger squad, but now the squad has been reduced. But the difference is that now you can actually count on the fringe players who are on the bench can come in and work and play very well. Unlike last season, you can't count on Andre Gomez if Busquets is injured. You can't count on Alex Vidal if Sergio Roberto or Semedo is injured. That's the difference now. When Busquets is out there, you can count on Arturo Vidal. He's much experienced, played at Juventus, played at Bayern Munich, very much experienced. If Coutinho is injured, you can count on Arturo. He's much experienced with Grêmio, played at the Copa Libertadores and played at the Club World Cup. Very good player. And also Malcolm, I should say, can come in to replace any of the front three there. Suarez.
Even Messi can take a rest, you think?
Yeah, he can take a rest. And that's one thing that...
It's on the game, so...
No.
Well, you go ahead.
I mean, you understand. If you watch the prison, you understand. Because Malcolm can score.
Okay.
He's not a bad player. He can score. He can provide assist and other things. So Messi can take a rest against Leganes or Levante. Yes,
they made the point. So Atletico Madrid and Barcelona have improved in all these areas. Then, so just to say, Lopetegui has come at the wrong time for Real Madrid, and like John was insinuating, almost just like then, what happened with Benitez? Wrong time, wrong timing, everything. He's predicted that he might be sacked.
You would say so, because for a manager like Diego Simeone, he managed to keep hold of his best players, quite apart from Vieto, who moved to Fulham. The likes of Griezmann, as Forsin said, stayed. You have Diego Costa, who for the first time in the last 3 years has managed to have a full preseason under his belt, and it was evident on the game on Wednesday when he started in full swing and the kind of goal he scored. So if you have these teams who you are competing with in the same competitions, having a full complement of their players, and what is good for Atletico as of now is that the players who were considered young, who were coming up, and are now players who are of age. Look at Jimenez, who was a stalwart for Uruguay in the World Cup. The same for Lucas Hernandez. But for Lopetegui, you are coming to a side where one of your stalwarts, that is Ronaldo, has left the scene, and you are relying on young players. And for me, if you compare Vasquez and Asensio to a Diego Costa or a Griezmann, it's uncomparable. You would say Malcolm is a player who is trying to carve a niche for himself, but then you have Messi and Suarez in Barcelona. So for me, I would say Lopetegui has come at the wrong time. If he manages to make an impact in La Liga, perhaps he will be one of the best coaches Madrid has ever had, looking at the kind of players he has now. Because for Vinicius, for instance, even though Vinicius is a promising talent, across 2 seasons in Flamengo, he scored about 14 goals in 69 appearances. Even last year, he scored about 4 goals. So he is not that kind of player who is going to give you the goals you would want for a side like Madrid. You would have Courtois at the back trying to keep the clean sheets, but you need goals to win competition.
Critical point there. So I come to you on that matter in trying to do it. FCN, or maybe no, FC, you give us the numbers, because they are players that we expect, like you mentioned Bale, like you mentioned Benzema, can they even come close to say averaging 35 goals, something close to what they have lost in Cristiano Ronaldo? Look at what they've done so far. At least even, let's take the year in which they won the La Liga itself, Real Madrid.
You look at the year they won La Liga, and Ronaldo had 25 goals. He scored 25 goals.
That's in La Liga.
In La Liga. Yeah. And a player who was next to him was Morata. Morata scored 14 goals, and that was 3 more than Benzema.
Yeah.
And now there's no more Ronaldo. Yeah. There's no more Morata. They are counting obviously on Benzema. And Bale, you look at the year they won La Liga, Bale only contributed 7 goals. That's a worry for Real Madrid.
It leaves Madrid now to pounce on one top striker. And Ramon Calderon was saying, you don't sell Cristiano Ronaldo for 100 million and be expecting to buy a top guy at this stage for 100 million.
Yeah, so Perez has already said that Madrid should expect a top signing. But at this moment,
I'm wondering what they're looking at. Maybe go for Mohamed Salah or something.
Maybe, but
something absolutely crazy, because
so they have to get a goal scorer, a proper goal scorer. I thought they would go for Lewandowski, which would have been very good for them, because you can say Lewandowski would be able to score at least 30-35 goals. Aside Lewandowski, maybe Icardi can also bank 20-30 goals. But the issue is if they don't replace Ronaldo's goals, and which should have been quite easy, quote and unquote, comparing to Barcelona trying to replace a whole Messi. I mean, Ronaldo only scores goals now. I mean, that's the most important part of his game. But probably Messi adds more. So if you just have to replace Ronaldo's average of 50 and you get a Lewandowski to give you 35, and probably if you get a Hazard or Neymar to add the other 30, you would have replaced Ronaldo. At the moment, Madrid don't look like they know what they are going to do, or they know who they are going to sign to replace Ronaldo. And this is very dangerous, because I mean, at the moment, they are spot on to get a third.
They need to find somebody. Now, let me activate the phone lines for 3 minutes. As much I can do that. 03022165541. 03022165541. Let's see if we have some Real Madrid fans coming through to tell us they still believe all of this is going to work out. Just looking at the messages that I got here. Yeah, Ahmed, sent out a message in there. Ben as well. Amayao Imano says, no, Madrid is Madrid. They have always been struggling, except when the number 12 obviously was they just it that way. You get a penalty versus PSG, another one versus Juventus, then you eventually win it. And it's not working out for you. So surely more coming out there in your messages. Turn it around again now. Coach KOJ Moses says they will struggle like a Division 2 team. Otting Richard said what Real Madrid will lack this season is Zidane, not Ronaldo. That's an interesting point there. Benjamin said, and Mikey Ehla says yes, they will, because the team does struggle a lot of times when Cristiano Ronaldo is out of action. Men said those there says this season it will go like Madrid. Ha ha ha. I've got a caller on the line right now. My first caller this afternoon. We'll be really quick with this. It is Yaro calling from Nkoko. Yaro, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm good, Georgiado. What about you?
I am great. Tell me.
Georgiado, I'm laughing like a killer.
For Real Madrid or against Real Madrid? What's happening?
It tells you that what Baba 7, aka CR7, the best footballer ever. There's no player bigger than Club Bar. You can even fold the one. the gap that the player has already left for them. I thank God that what yesterday Casemiro come out boldly and said that despite Ronaldo is no more there, no matter whatever.
It's not going to work out for them.
Yes,
okay.
Because
quickly
tell people that Baba 7 is the best ever. I'm so happy. I don't know what to say again.
All right, thank you, Yaro. That's right.
Yaro,
thank you very much. I've got Stephen from Manchester. That will be my last caller. Stephen, good afternoon. How you doing?
Good afternoon, George Adi Jr.
Yes, man. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well.
Okay, let's hear from you. What do you think?
And towards the Barcelona fans, we're already celebrating.
You've won the title.
Classical matches will end up 5-0, 6-0, 7-0. And the Champions League we are reading.
Okay, I see.
We are very, very happy.
Very happy indeed. I see. I see. Wow. Thank you very much for your call. I'm not sure I can take any more calls. One more? Okay, I can't take any more calls. We have to quickly make this work out. So we're looking forward to how the La Liga itself will start. It's not bad at all. I'm sure you're gearing up. And for most of these Barcelona fans, they will know this is going to be working out for them. Guys, I have to come to you quickly and let's talk about your picks for the weekend, especially with the English Premier League and the Spanish La Liga. So let me come to you, Efson. What are your picks in terms of the games to look forward to? I know Barcelona must be part.
Yeah, obviously, I'm looking at how Barcelona will start the season against Deportivo Alaves. There's a Ghanaian interest in there. Chumisi and Wakasu could be starting for Alaves there. But I'm looking at how Barcelona will make a perfect start to the
season. And knowing that Real Madrid don't have good starts, are you interested at all? I mean, from the journalistic point of view,
I'm interested. Real Madrid, although they don't have Ronaldo, they can make a good start.
Yeah,
and if Barcelona force shots, they can take advantage and go all the way. But I'm looking at Barcelona just beating Deportivo Alaves and
going in there,
marching on.
Quarterfinals definitely out there for the women's. Under 20 Women's World Cup, of course. So we're looking at the semis and what's going to be happening. But guys, let's talk about your games. Liverpool play on Monday, so it leaves you with looking elsewhere.
Yes, obviously I'm looking at Chelsea Arsenal. That's going to be very interesting.
Where do you think that's going?
I'm hoping a draw 2-2 will be fine.
2-2 will be fine.
Yes.
That sounds a bit. I mean, Jima, you're looking forward to that game, are you?
Definitely. For me, I'm looking forward to the kind of midfield partnership Mauricio Sarri decides on, whether N'Golo Kante, Jorginho, Kovacic, or with a fit Fabregas. Fabregas replaces Barkley. But it's going to be a very interesting game. I think Chelsea are going to win by a slim margin. But my pick for the weekend is Valencia, Atletico Madrid. Valencia are on a resurgence, having chopped fourth in the Spanish La Liga table, coming up against a side like Atletico
Madrid, who are just
who are on a resurgence on the back of European Super Cup. It's going to be interesting, and watching out for the midfield battle between Partey and Kondogbia.
I'm just wondering, none of you mentioned Juventus not looking forward to the Talent Serie A starting.
Yeah.
You want to see what? You should be looking forward to that. And Serie A all of a sudden having.
You won't be surprised if he starts with a hat trick.
Yeah. There's a big one out there. We just want to give it some time, so as a bumpers, we'll see where it really goes with that. Thank you guys for joining me on the show. Always a pleasure. And we're looking forward to a sweet one as well. Those of you keeping an eye on the Cincinnati Batis is important because it's a precursor truly to the the US Open. And all of you are trying to pick up on that. Formula One fans, you have to hold on and wait till it comes in. That's it for the locker room. We're back next week with another great edition. My name is George Adi Jr. Standing by Ernest Menu, Barcelona fan.
Hi George, what's up?
You think you're winning this one this year because there's no Ronaldo?
We don't want to make so much noise. We just want to go play and score, and then we can get back at you.